people. Happy Tuesday, May 12th. Lucille S. kicks us off with our quote this morning. I know my higher power through daily meditation. When we are at a 12-step meeting, our higher power is also there. One way to experience that power is through members sharing their strength and hope. We know our higher power is working in our lives when we hear others tell their story, and we don't have to feel alone again. We can ask ourselves, are we trying to find ways to identify with other members, or are we still trying to be different? Are we finding fault with our 12-step program, or are we grateful for the principles we are learning? Do we criticize or judge others at meetings, or are we at one with our higher power and the force of our fellowship? We can, in recovery, strive continuously to improve ourselves. We can let go of the critical fault-finding we did in the past and live one day at a time, grateful for our sobriety. By doing this, we are living constructively, growing spiritually, and freeing ourselves from pain. We are open to the presence of our higher power, who is always within, and who can help us if we only ask. Today, let me feel God's presence and power in my life. So, full disclosure, when I read these to you in the morning, I don't generally read them ahead of time. I might look right before I get on the air just so that I don't fumble too much when I'm reading it. And I just kind of go with however the reading hits me is what I share with you, typically. So I'm going to just kind of tell you what I'm thinking, and there's some irony to what I'm about to say. I had two thoughts when I read this, and one of them is that there's someone that, and this is going to sound judgy, so this is why I'm tripping up my words here, because it sounds exactly like what the reading doesn't want us to do, what I'm about to do, but I'm sharing it with you to kind of prove a point. I did have a friend that, we were in 12 steps in different locations, and I had never met the people in his circle initially, and he would tell me, I didn't know who these people were or whatever, but he would tell me if he objected or if he should feel a certain way based on things that were said in the room. In hindsight, I know it was just because he needed validation and he wanted to be right or whatever. And we were generally on different ends of the spectrum on our views a lot of times. So I guess it's interesting that it's so blatant as I say it to you, and it's probably why I'm kind of tripping it up, is that was a place of judgment and not being in a room for the sole purpose of recovering. And I'm not telling you that to scare you away and to make you think that the rooms are that way, but there are people that are that way. And I feel a little guilty saying it like that, like I'm judging him, and that's not my intention. I'm just sharing that you can go in the rooms and make them what you want. You can work on yourself and understand that it's principles above personalities. These questions, are we trying to identify with the members, or are we still trying to be different? And when I think of this person, I think that he wanted to be almost superior, like his way was better, or I don't know. That's me having judgment and opinion. Are we finding fault with our 12-step program, or are we grateful? And that's just it. If you follow the traditions and work hard at, it shouldn't even be that hard of work, actually. But if you work to just, take what you want, leave the rest. There's a reason that's a slogan. It shouldn't be about other people and what they're doing, unless it's coming from a place of kindness and love where you want to help them. You shouldn't be talking behind their backs or judging them privately. And I know we all do it. I'm struggling a little with a couple of the dynamics in my group, and a little of it is I don't necessarily agree with some stuff. And it's not like life-threatening stuff. It's just that my impression is different than the words that are coming out of people's mouths, I guess. But it's not for me to, it's just not for me to deal with. Like, if I'm focusing on their stuff, then I'm not working on my stuff. I'm just trying to be transparent in you that I've been guilty of this too. I don't necessarily agree with everybody's choices. I will, the majority of the time, though, speak up and at least give them a different perspective to chew on. Now, they can take it or leave it, but at least I feel peace with offering a different spin on things. And it's not always easy, and it's not always received well. But if it's not received well, this is my philosophy, and this is, again, back to kind of judgment, is if they aren't open to feedback, whether it's right or wrong, whether they take advice or don't, they're not being open-minded, and open-minded is a foundation of recovery. So that's, it's kind of that circle. Then I can go, oh, well, they're not being open-minded. But that, again, not my place. So I can make those choices, and I have to do them without criticizing or judging. I just have to be, and I say have to be for my sanity, my recovery, and for the person I want to be or that I'm trying to be, is to just do the best I can and then move on and go back to focusing on my recovery. I want to be helpful, but I don't want to be entrenched or have the negative feelings that go with trying to control somebody else's recovery or tell them what to do. Like, no, not my gig. So that's what I think we should maybe look at today is when we do go in a room, what are we doing there? Are we using what we hear, see, learn, and applying it to ourselves to become better human beings? Or are we going in with a know-it-all attitude? I got this. I'm just here because the wife made me come. You know, their perspective isn't right. I'm not like them. Is that kind of the mentality? Because if that is, you're just wasting your time by going, quite honestly. You can keep going back and trying to get it. I mean, there's something to continuing to go until the light bulb clicks on. But if it doesn't change and you're not getting the value because you have that kind of not open-minded, not willing to learn mindset, I just don't know that it would be productive. So I can relate, and I sit here and I don't know if just because there's people popping into my head, if that makes me 100% guilty of this. So I'm learning today as well. And I'll have to digest that a little because I don't want to be someone who picks and chooses their recovery habits or strategies. And what other people do really technically is none of my business. If it helps me learn along the way, that's one thing, you know, that's the point. And if there's fellowship and camaraderie, that's why we should be in groups and mutual aid programs and stuff, is the fellowship of it, not the judgment and create more yucky feelings that make us want to go out and gamble or do whatever. I mean, we could use anything as an excuse to place a bet, right? So entering this other people's business and that dynamic could absolutely contribute as an excuse. And then we're not healing. We're focusing on relapsing. You know, like there's a big circle there. All right, beautiful people. That's all I got for today. I hope you guys have a terrific Tuesday. See you tonight.